Hello, and welcome to Ask a Historian, brought to you by Heritage Mississauga. I'm Matthew Wilkinson, your host and historian with Heritage Mississauga. Together, we will dive into the fascinating stories that have shaped our city. Remember, you can send your questions to history@heritagemississauga.org and help us explore more local stories. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow us, and stay connected with Heritage Mississauga's programs and events. On today's episode of Ask a Historian, we are joined by our very own Madeleine Henry. Maddie has spent just over a year with us here at Heritage Mississauga as our collections and resource specialist, and now she is moving on to another exciting opportunity. On this special episode of Ask a Historian, we will reflect on her time with us here at Heritage Mississauga as we wish her a fond farewell. Well, Maddie, thank you for joining us with our Ask a Historian program. And as we mentioned, you've been with us just over a year. What a year it has been, but new opportunities beckon you onwards. So yes, indeed, on to new pursuits and new heights in the future for you. And just wanted to reflect and look back on your time with Heritage Mississauga, and also thank you for the time that and the effort and the passion and the ideas you've brought. I've been an integral member of our team for over a year now, but you are a resident of the city. Can you talk a little bit about what it was like to work in the culture sector in your own city?
Was honestly something that I never really thought about at first. When I was coming out of school and I was looking for jobs, I was very interested in Mississauga, but it wasn't something that I grew up thinking, oh, I can't wait to work where I live. You I've
Yeah.
always wanted to, live abroad or go somewhere else. So when I first got hired at Heritage Mississauga, I fell in love with the history of Mississauga that half of it I didn't even know about. So it was honestly such an amazing learning experience for me. And then it became one of my favorite parts of the job, which was being able to share the stories and the history and all of the passion that we have and Mississauga has with other people and learning it for the first time, just like I did.
Yeah. I know it was hard. It's hard to separate. I think like when you first started, you were right into events, and so it's hard to kind of
Yeah.
take a step back and see kind of that bigger picture of what culture is in the city. But it's been a race, right? Like we the moment you started to now, we really haven't slowed down. So it's
Not one.
I'm amazed that you're able to juggle kind of the ideas versus the program demands and whatnot. It's been a run. Um, if you can reflect on your time with Heritage Mississauga,
Mhm.
what are some of your personal highlights? And don't include spray glue because I know that's a whole different.
Okay, I have a couple personal highlights. I would say one of them for sure was being a part of the comic book series and doing our comic on the museum collections.
Yes.
So that was really exciting to me because it was something I've never done before, but also it was very collections focused,
Yeah.
which was also just very exciting for me then. Um, I also really enjoyed engagement at Bradley.
Right.
Living and growing up in Mississauga, I was unaware that this was even happening. And then when I went for the first time, I fell in love with it because it's such a unique experience to kind of travel back in time. And the reenactors do such an amazing job at really making you feel like you were there. And then having all of the, what would you call it? Like vendors there selling their stuff and talking to you and sharing history, and everyone's so excited and just immersed in it. And it was such an amazing experience. And now I will be there every single year. So being a part of not necessarily the planning of it, but helping with it and being able to experience it. I also had a lot of fun being a part of the credits,
Right.
which I know for some people it maybe it's not the most exciting event of the year, but for me it was a chance to dress up, have fun and create some exciting stuff. So
Yeah.
definitely a
You,
highlight for
you're a
me.
big part of the ambiance of the credits and just that excitement that goes into it, and the planning and execution of it, of course. But
Yeah.
on the day of, I know it just it contributes to the feel of the evening, and for engagement of Bradley, I mean, I can just imagine. For me, it's I get into it as an event planning thing because you've done it a few times and you kind of know what to
Mhm.
expect. But I appreciated it from your perspective, kind of brought the excitement back a little bit in terms of
Yeah,
how special
never
this
being
thing
there.
actually is.
Mhm.
For me, I'd have to say working with you on two consecutive Karasagas was a treat.
Oh,
And yeah, the amount of work that we do in that realm each and every year. I will miss you at a Talfest this year, but I know last
yes.
year you ably managed the lead up and execution of the displays for a Talfest. So just the fun things you kind of get thrown into outside of the everyday job, right? Like so.
Exactly. Definitely not part of the job description, but a
Yes.
big
Yeah.
part of the job that
Well,
was
well, it
very
is.
fun and
All
exciting.
the things we just talked about are other duties, right? Like,
Mhm. Yeah,
uh, i-
absolutely.
is there? I mean, we just reflected on some of your high points, but is there anything in particular that you worked on that you've accomplished at Heritage Mississauga that you're very proud of for kind of personal accomplishment?
So when I think back and I think about that, I think the most like the moment I was most proud of was actually my starting because when I started, obviously, it was a bit hectic. I came
Mm.
right into Saga, and then unfortunately, Matthew, you were out for a bit after
Yep.
that. So I'm actually very proud of the way that I kind of, put on my big girl pants and said, okay, we have internship students for the summer. We have a Talfest coming. I'm brand new to Heritage Mississauga. I just graduated my master's. So I've never had a 9 to 5 before. Um, and obviously the team was very supportive and you were very supportive. But I do think it was one of the moments where I'm very proud of where I was like, oh wow, okay, this is it. This is why you have a salary now because you have to take charge
Yep.
and you're kind of working with students who are looking to me for support and advice and I'm like oh man okay yeah I do know what I'm talking about but you feel like you don't because I just finished school and I just started so
Yep.
it was a very odd situation for me and then kind of going into it and having the lead on multiple projects while still working with you remotely it was definitely one of my proudest moments I think one of the scariest moments one of my proudest moments.
I'd have to concur. It's very if I'm okay to say it, I
Oh,
was very proud of how you responded to it. It was not the initiation I intended.
no, that's okay.
But very quickly, with me being remote for a period of time last year, um, having you there and then realizing, you know what, you've got it in control. This is that was it
Yeah,
allowed me an opportunity to kind of step back a little bit and know we were in good hands. So it was again not the beginning we had intended. But you really did shine, and for
you
that I'm very grateful. And but like I know and your own particular spin on the events, but the displays and the exhibits and how we collect and share information. It's been neat to be part of that because you really do. Yeah, in a very good way, you made us think and reflect and view things in a different perspective, and that came through in the comic too. We talked about the comic, and the Legend of the Museum comic has your fingerprints all over it, and I think that those are neat things, like I said, to be part of as a collaborative team.
oh
Um,
absolutely.
so, what are some of the projects or programs that you work closely with, other than the events we've talked about? Can you
Mhm.
talk a little bit about kind of that job experience, if you will?
Of course. um I would have to say what I tried to do coming into the role as a collections and resource specialist was make the collections more accessible and more, I guess, advertised in a way that was very creative so that people would engage with it more. So I worked closely with Melissa for our Member Mondays, doing things a little bit differently. kind of putting a little twist on things that maybe would grab people's attention more so that they would click on our website to go look at the collection. That was a lot of fun, actually. I enjoyed doing that a lot. Um, Kind of working with our front exhibit space to do a couple, exhibits that I thought would be visually appealing to grab more of the attention of the people coming in, but also very educational. So I think my favorite was the Christmas card one
Right.
that we had up during caroling, which was really fun.
Yeah.
And I thought it was kind of a unique twist to, okay, like this is, the history of the Christmas cards, but also they're all Mississauga based, the ones we have, and very engaging. So I liked that one.
Yeah, I did too.
Um,
That was fun.
it was a fun one. It was really
Yeah.
cool. I also really enjoyed having an internship student this summer that was working specifically with collections. And it was really fun to kind of, hunker down and just do everything collections and really just focus on that. I really wanted to get a lot more of our collections online so that people were able to look it up and have it accessible. And I found that when more of our collection was accessible, I did get more requests for things. Oh, can I see this? Oh, can I have more information about this? So that was really exciting and rewarding for me as well.
Shout out to Amy Gooman
Yeah.
for the work that she'd done this summer with us. You two were a great team, not only with exhibits and events, but with like I said, with the collections as well.
Yes, it was amazing.
I've really appreciated knowing our collections were in your hands. And I just, again, the way you looked at, making them accessible and
Mhm,
getting the database. So, you inherited it, but you also took it to a new place. So, those I
mhm.
appreciate. And we're on the cusp here too, thanks to you largely and
Oh,
your leadership on the digitization project. So,
yeah,
I know you're not here to execute it, but nonetheless, our
we'll be
next
in good
stage,
hands.
yes, our next stage is set, and you ably hand this off to Emily. And for our
Mhm.
viewers, we'll introduce Emily a little bit later in another episode of our program. But collections are your love.
Yes.
And I know you're absolutely passionate about them. I don't understand it, but I know you are. Uh,
But
and
that's why it works.
that's why we work well together.
Mhm.
The collections is full of stories.
Oh, yeah.
In your time with us, is
Mhm.
there a collection story? Is there a collection artifact? Is there a series of things that just jump out to you as, this is my favorite. This is the
Mhm.
story that I resonate with in our collections.
There's actually a couple. Um,
I'm asking for your favorite child. I mean, that's kind of
yeah,
the
well, I think that's easy to pick now. We recently got a package in the mail unexpectedly, and it was a carpenter smock from Clarkson. I believe Clarkson.
Yes.
Yes. Um, and when we opened it up, it was like it seemed very tiny, honestly, but it was a grown man's carpenter smock, but it was like a quite old but beautiful. And I think the letter that came with it is what really inspired me and really kind of resonated with me. And then it made me look at the carpenter smock in a different light, which made me really appreciate it. And then, okay, this has to be my favorite. So the note had said that it came from Alberta actually. So we
Yeah.
were a little confused at first because it was shipped from Canmore. We were like, what? Did we order something that came from Alberta? Like we have no idea what this is. And the smock belonged to a resident of Cooksville who later moved to Perry Sound, who then gave the smock to his daughter and son-in-law. So growing up as a Cooksville resident, that was his father's, and then he inherited it. And then it was passed on as an heirloom. And we received this smock, and in the note it said that The man who was donating to us was the son-in-law, and he said that, you know, he was coming to his end of time on earth, or he
Yeah.
wrote it way nicer though. He said
Yeah.
his tenure on earth is coming to an end. And me and Matt were like, wow, that's a really nice way to say that. And he wanted to return it back home. So just the sentimental value of this, you know, carpenter smock. And he said that he had worn it when he was doing projects and it really inspired him and it made him, you know, connected to his father-in-law and then how an amazing of a man he was. And it just really made him feel like he was embodying those, you know, personality traits. And then he sends it back to us saying that he wants it to come home. And it was so special because, you know, people think of us as almost like a second home for their stuff. Like they know that we're going to take care of it. They know that we're going to preserve it and know that we'll care for it as much as they care for it. And that I think what's made it so special for me, particularly with this item, is that he thought of us as a safe place to hold on to his memory.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things I love the most about collections is that you get to learn so much about not just the artifact, but the people who have the artifact itself and the connection they have with it. And it now has made it my favorite item in the collection, even though I think if I stumbled upon it at first, I don't think that the carpenter's smock would have necessarily caught my attention. But just the story and the
Yeah.
family connected to it is what's made it so special for me.
The story is really what resonates, right? Like the collection,
Yes.
the physical item opens the window on an evocative story. And I mean,
Mhm.
you could probably run down everything in our collection and every, you know, gather
Exactly.
stories and you think of, you know, museums and stuff like the major collections. I mean, you're moving into a world that's a different realm of collections. Uh,
Yes.
For those of you curious, Maddie is stepping on or stepping up into the ROM, and we're working in digitization of collections at the ROM. So, you know, we wish you nothing but the best moving forward. But in that realm of wishing,
Mhm.
if you had a wish or a hope for Mississauga in the future, what would it be? Not Heritage Mississauga, but the city that your city, where you live, where you've grown up. If you had a heritage wish, what would it be?
If I had a heritage wish, it would be for people to discover and appreciate the history of Mississauga and the incredible stories that we have attached to it. I wish that everybody who came into Mississauga, you know, connected and invested in preserving our history and our heritage. And if I had a wish for that, it would be for people to continue to be open to discovering that. And, you know, heritage is about people's stories. And my hope is that people can connect to it when they're moving into Mississauga, when they're visiting Mississauga, and they can see a bit of themselves in our heritage stories that we have. And I'm pretty sure everyone could connect in some way to some of our history or our heritage. And I hope that it stays strong. And I know it will because of Heritage Mississauga. And I know it's not going anywhere because we work tirelessly to make sure that Mississauga's heritage is accessible and develop like ever more developing and people know about it. And my wish is that it just keeps growing stronger and that everybody has to know about Mississauga's heritage.
Well, I have an unscripted comment, so I'll apologize if I stumble over it a little bit. But, you know, outside of Heritage Mississauga,
Mhm,
outside of your career path that you're on, you're a resident of the city.
mhm.
You're one of the people here.
Yeah,
And if our people could take anything away from it, your time and your experiences you've created with us, it's that passion, it's that curiosity, it's that engagement that you have with the subject that I hope in a small way rubs off on other people.
I hope so.
Well, Maddie, with that, thank you. Not only for this episode, but thank you for the last little bit, a year and a bit, and
I can't believe it's been a year.
I can't either. It feels like I've known you a lot longer than that, and in a very
We'll
positive
talk
way.
about
And I wish you and hopefully our listeners will join in as well. Wish you nothing but the best moving forward, and hopefully magical times ahead of you at the
it.
ROM and
I
beyond.
hope
So,
so. I
thank
can't
you,
thank
and
Heritage Mississauga enough though, because if
yeah,
it
I know
wasn't,
you're not going to be a stranger,
oh
but
gosh, no.
best wishes on the path ahead.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I couldn't have done it without you guys. So I know that for sure.
We're glad to be part of the journey. Thank you for spending some time with us here on Ask a Historian. And thank you also to Maddie Henry for joining us and reflecting on her time here with Heritage Mississauga. We will miss her, and we thank Maddie for all of her hard work, passion, and dedication to Heritage Mississauga and to the city of Mississauga, the city she calls home. Like, subscribe, and follow us, and stay connected for news and updates on Heritage Mississauga's programs and events. And join us next time on Ask a Historian as we explore more fascinating stories from Mississauga's history.